Hello viewers, welcome back to Easy Mathematics. Today we want to continue with the solution of the BECE likely questions. Today we want to concentrate on Venn diagram. How questions are being asked in various ways. But I want to look at only two for now, or for today, and also standard forms. So let's read the first question. P and Q are subsets of the universal set U, such that U is equal to natural numbers less than 15. P is equal to even numbers, and Q is equal to multiples of 4 between 9 and 15. List the element of U, P, and Q. Find alpha P union Q, and you have the beta as P union Q prime or complement. P union Q complement. Good. Then you have to draw a Venn diagram to show U, P, and Q. Now, whenever a question is given, this Venn diagram type is given on set. Take note of the word given as subset. Now they are saying that the P and Q are subset of U, which means in every set of P and Q we are going to mention or list should be found in the universal set. So if the set you are listing, there is a number that is not in the universal set, because of the word subset, do not write that letter or that number. So let's solve the first one. So I is saying that you should list the element. So U, what is U? U happens to be natural numbers less than 15. And natural numbers start from 1. But because it's less than 15, meaning 15 is excluded. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we end on 14 because it's less than 15. Now this U happens to be the universal set where P and Q are subsets. When we say a set is a subset of another, it means all the members can be found in the universal set. So now let us list P. What is P? P is even numbers. Now what are even numbers? Even numbers are numbers that are divisible by 2. So we always start with the positive values, which is what? 2. We always start from 2. Now look at the numbers. Now list all even numbers you know. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Now 16 is an even number. But because the P is a subset of the universal set, we don't have to list more than 14. So this 16 is not included or is not part of the set. Because the subset, because of the word subset, all the members of P that we have to list should be found in the universal set. Now let's go to the Q. Q is multiples of 4 between 9 and 15. So if I'm listing Q, actually if I want the multiples of 4, the multiples of 4 start from 4, though we have the 4 in the universal set, goes towards 8. We also have the 8 in the universal set. But you have been given a condition that the multiples of 4 is between 9 and 15. So between 9 and 15, what number is a multiple of 4? That number happens to be 12. Now we don't have to start from 4, 1, 4, 4, 2, 8. We don't have to list by 4. Because we have been given a condition, we have to respect the condition and know that at that same time, the Q is a subset of U. meaning we can see the element of Q in this set. So the I that you have to list the element, we have listed. Now what is the I saying? Let's do the I here. The I said find P union Q. Now with the P union Q, it means combine the P and the Q together. So if you combine the P and the Q, you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. Now this 12 that you have here, you don't repeat it. You just write the 12. So the P union Q is more or less like the what? The Q. Now you have P union Q prime. Now the meaning of P union Q prime are simply the set that you can see here, but you don't see in the universal set. You can see them here. Sorry, you can see them in the universal set, but they are not in this one. Then you just list them down. Good. Now, our major interest is how to draw the Venn diagram for the P and Q. That is the major interest. Now, because we are to draw a Venn diagram illustrating P and Q with the universal set, we have to know P intersection Q. That means the intersecting point of P and Q. Now you can see that the intersecting point is what? Is 12. P, we have 12. Q, we have 12. So in drawing our Venn diagram, we are just going to make sure that everything that we are having here are intersections or intersection. So the Venn diagram, before we come to the P union Q, I want us to look at the Venn diagram, then we look at the P union Q prime. Now with the Venn diagram, we just have to draw our two circles, one intersecting the other, then we have it like this. So let's say this is your P, this is your Q. So we have the universal set here. Now what is the common element? Is 12. So we have the intersection to be 12. Now looking at P, we list all elements found in P except for Q, since the 12 is already there. Except for 12, since the 12 is already at the intersection. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 14. So these are the P only, and with this give you the P, and this is Q, because in the Q we have only one element. Now after listing, you will notice that in the universal set contains everything in a rectangle. So all the elements you have listed here happens to be in the universal set, but not in any of these two sets. So they are the complements. So what do? We list all the complements here. That is what is not here, but is found in the universal set. So we have 1, we have 3, we have 5, we have 7, we have 9, we have 11, and we have 13. So these are the complements. Now these complements are the same as the P union Q prime. These, the ones here, they are the same as the P union Q prime. So when you have to list them, you just list these ones. 1, 3, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So with this type of question, you will be asked to list the set of a given set notation. Now, sometimes if they don't give you the word description, they can give it to you in a set builder notation form, where you should know the one that are to be included and those that are supposed to be excluded. So listing UPQ will give you this. If you are drawing a Venn diagram, just know the intersection of the 2 points. The universal set is for all. Then you quickly represent them on the Venn diagram. This is a brush through under this type of question. Now let's look at the other type that you can be asked under Venn diagram. So in Venn diagram, if it is not asked in this format, they can ask you in the one we are about to talk about. Or they will draw this diagram for you, just like the way they did for the 2021 candidate. They will draw the diagram down for you, and they will ask you questions based on the diagram. So the same idea you are having on this diagram, by how to represent it on the Venn diagram, is the same idea we use to interpret it or to answer such questions. So let's look at the other one where you have it dealing with human beings or a given quantity. So I'm reading. 50 students in a class took an examination in French and mathematics. 50 students in a class took an examination in French and mathematics. If 14 of them passed French only, 23 passed both subjects, and 5 of them failed in both, find the number of students who passed in French. Probability of selecting a student who passed mathematics. Now, once you read, you have been told the universal set. It says 50 students in a class took a test. So the universal set for this set is 50. The subjects they mentioned here are French and mathematics. So we have to draft our data. So drafting your data will help you to solve the problem at ease. So let's try to draft the data. To draft your data, ask yourself and say, let the number u represent universal set. From the question, there are 50 students. So the universal set is 50. That is good. The subject they mentioned are French and mathematics. So we can say the number f should be French. And the number m should be mathematics. Now let's take note of something here. You have been given, if 14 of them pass French only, this word that has been given, French only, it is not the same as the French we have written here. So the French we have written here includes some students who also did mathematics. But the French only has been specific. So we have to also write the number f only. Then the quantity given is 14. Because we have not been given the number of students who passed French, nor the students who passed mathematics. We haven't been given. Now when you continue, it says 23 passed both subjects. So those who passed French and passed mathematics, which happens to be the number f intersection m, which is what? The intersection as both subjects is given as what? 23. Is there a complement? 5 of them failed. So if 5 of them failed, they are in the class though, but they didn't pass French nor pass mathematics. So they are the number f union m prime, and they are referred to as what? Complements. And this is fact. They are part of the universal set, but did not pass any of the 2 subjects. So now with this data, I can illustrate the information on the Venn diagram and know what I've been asked to find. I've been asked to find the number of students who passed French. And those who passed French, you don't know. So we can say, let those who passed French be A. And let those who passed mathematics be B. Now what do you do? From here you draw your Venn diagram. So let's give a sketch here. We have 2 zeros like this. So the first circle takes the first name. So the number f, and this is the number n. Then we have the universal set here as 50. So let's just do copy and paste. French, here, we said it should be A, so we have it there. Mathematics, we said is B. Now the French only has been given as 14. Now because it is only, we are just going to drop it inside the only for French without subtracting. Why are we not subtracting? We are not subtracting because it is only. So this student did only French. Then the intersection is what? 23. But because this B, which is the mathematics, you have not been given the only, we are going to drop the mathematics inside, then we subtract the intersection. And we are having the complement as 5. So we've been able to illustrate the information on the diagram. Now we can do the I. What is the I saying? The I says, find the number of students who passed in French. And this is the French. So I. If I want those who passed in French, then adding the only to the intersection will give me this place. Because the number of students who pass French is those who pass French only and those who pass in both subjects. So I can say the number F is equal to the region I plus the region II. So I have the number F to be equal to 14 plus 23. And you have the number F to be equal to what? 37. So we say therefore 37 students passed French. And we are good to go. So anytime you are being asked to find this, you add this to this. If you visit our previous videos, we have more explanation on Venn diagram from the beginning to the one which involves complement. Good. So now let's look at the II. The II says, find the probability of selecting a student who passed mathematics. We want the probability. But before we can get the probability of those who pass mathematics, we have to know those who pass mathematics. And those who pass mathematics, they are the B. So it means we have to solve for this B. So how do we solve for B? Since B happens to be the only variable in the equation or in the diagram, we can solve for B by saying this region plus this region plus this region plus this is equal to the universal set. And that will help us to solve for the B. So in finding the probability of those who pass mathematics, I have to know the number of students who pass mathematics. And how will I know that? By adding my region I plus the region II plus the third one plus the fourth one should give me the universal set. Now what is at I? I is 14. So we are going to say 14 plus II, which is the only, the both region, this and this, intersection, plus III, which is B minus 23. So we have B minus 23 plus 5, which is the complement, is equal to the universal set. Now, what do? This becomes a simple equation to solve for B. So positive 23, negative 23 can cancel out. Now you have 14 plus 5 plus B is equal to 50. So this will give you 19 plus B is equal to 50. Making B the subject will give you 50 minus 19. Then you subtract. Now B is equal to what? 31. So the B represents the number of students who pass mathematics. Not mathematics only. For me to get the mathematics only, I'll just bring the B here and I'll subtract the 23 from 31. And that will give you the mathematics only. So 31 students passed mathematics. So we can write 31 students passed mathematics. Good. The question didn't ask you find the number of students who passed mathematics. The question said find the probability of students who pass mathematics. But before we can know the probability, we have to know this. So now, what is probability? Probability is the number of events over the number of sample space. The number of events is what you have been asked to calculate for. I've been asked to calculate for the probability of those who pass maths. So that is the number of events. And the number of sample space is the total that you have in a class. So how many people pass the mathematics? They are 31. And how many people are in the class? They are 50. So since I cannot simplify, then my probability of selecting a student who passed mathematics is 31 out of 50. So these are certain questions they can ask. They can ask for the percentage as well. They can also ask for the fraction as well. So here, if they want percentage of students who pass mathematics, then we are going to just multiply this fraction by 100. And that gives you the percentage. Also, a question like this can be given, which was given in the year 2021. They will draw the diagram down and will rather interpret. You will interpret the diagram that has been drawn by answering questions based on what has been drawn. Because of late, they've been able to notice that students are able to know how questions are being set. So they just want to tilt the question by either giving you in a form of interpretation or in a form just to confuse us. So once we can draw and represent a diagram, an information on a Venn diagram, then we should also be able to interpret the diagram when it is drawn. We should know that this is the only, and once it is only, you don't subtract the intersection. But if it is not only, we subtract the intersection. We should know all these things and also how the calculation is also done in it. So that is it for the Venn diagram. We have the one where we have the set. You'll be asked to list the set, then you illustrate it on a Venn diagram. We said you should always take note of the word subset. It is very, very important. If you outlook the word subset, you are going to get whatever you've done to be cos 90. So once it is a subset, know that every set I list should be from the universal set, should be located in our universal set. And also how to find the A, the intersection, the union, and also the complement when the question is given this time. So these are the two ways they can give the Venn diagram, either in this format or this format. In this format, we have the one with complement, the one without complement. And when you visit our previous videos, we've explained more on Venn diagram. Now let's look at standard forms. Of late, in every mock that we write for this year, looks like there are more of this type of questions. And most will be asking, how can I solve it and leave it in a standard form? Now, to solve this and leave your answer in standard form is very simple when you use the simple way. Now, we have two ways. Number one, multiply the numerators involving the decimal and just divide with the decimal using the long division. Whatever you get, you change it into what? Into standard form. Or let's illegally change all these numbers into whole numbers but in a standard form and solve for it. So how do we go about it? Now let's look at this. I've been given the question 0.035 times 1.02 all over 0.00015. Now, this is what we have to do, which will make the calculation very simple. Now, this 0.005, let's write the 0.005 as a whole number. Now, in writing it as a whole number, we are going to shift the point here to this side of the 5, so that we'll get 35.0, which is the same as 35. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3. So now if the decimal point is here, we are going to get 35. Now let's multiply this by 10 based on the standard form. So times 10 raised to the power the number of times we moved How many times did we move? We moved 1, 2, 3. We moved 3 times. But watch here. The movement was done from the left to the right. So because it was done from the left to the right, the sign here must be a what? A negative. Because you move from your left to the right. So this is going to give you -3. So this 0.035 is now a whole number at 35 in this form. Now let us also do same for this 1.02. So we have times. Now let's move the point to this side. 1, 2. Now we are having 102 times 10 raised to the power 2 because we moved 2 times. But based on the direction of the movement, this is going to be a what? A negative. Based on the direction of the movement. We also do same to the denominator. This is 0.00015. Let us write it in the whole number form. So from the point, we move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are now having 15 times 10 raised to the power, the number of times we moved. We moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're moving 5 as a negative because of the direction. Now after writing the decimals as a whole number, let's group the numerators in such a way that we are going to get a whole number times a whole number and 10 to the power times 10 to the power. So with that, we are going to say 35 times 102 times 10 raised to the power -3 times 10 raised to the power -2 all over 15 times 10 raised to the power -5. From here, what do? We can simply cancel out. Let's try and see if the cancellation will be more simple. Now, what can divide 15 and divide this? We can say that 5 will go into itself, 5 will go into 15 3 times. And 5 will go into 35 7 times. Now you are having 7 times 102 all divided by 3. This 3 can simply cancel out 102. How many times? It will cancel 102. That is going to give you 34 times. If you multiply 4 by 3, you are getting 12. 3 by 3 is 9. So that is 34 times. So we can just cancel and say 3 here 1, 3 here 34. Now dealing with the whole number part alone, what did we get after simplifying? We have 7 times 34 all out of 1. Then times, now the powers that you are having here, we are going to use the law of indices. If you are multiplying and the bases are the same, what do? We add the powers. So this is going to give you 10 raised to the power -3 plus -2 all over 10 to the power -5. Now this is equal to, let's multiply this to get the result. So let's multiply 34 by 7. 7 times 4 is 28. So remember 2. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus this will give you 23. So this is giving me 238 over 1, which of course is the same as 238. Times, let's deal with the simplification here, which is going to give you 10 raised to the power. When positive meets negative, it becomes negative. So this is going to give you -5, which is all over 10 raised to the power -5. Now the whole number part here is the same as 28. So we are going to say, Sorry, 328. So 328 times, when you look at this, we are going to use the law of indices, which is the second law of indices. The second law says that if you are dividing and the bases are the same, we subtract the powers. Now, this is the first number I'm having. So 10 raised to the power negative 5 minus, the power here is also negative, so it's going to be negative 5. So if the two negative meet, it becomes positive. Now what happens to this? This is going to give you 238 times 10 raised to the power 0, because this is negative 5, positive 5, giving you 0. Now this number is not in the standard form, so we change this number in a standard form, because the question said evaluate and leave your answer in the standard form. So if I'm having 238 times 10 raised to the power 0, it's not a standard number. So how do I do the changing? Now this, there's a decimal point being assumed here, so we are going to move to this direction to finally this direction. Now this is going to give you 2.38 times 10 raised to the power, we move 2 times. Then we are having times 10 raised to the power 0. Now this is now getting close to being in the standard form, because to be in the standard form, it should be from 1 to 9. So now, you just add. Bases are the same. 2 plus 0 happens to be 2. So your final answer should be 2.38 times 10 raised to the power positive 2. Now, when we move this direction, you notice that the sign here is positive. Why? Because movement from the right to the left in standard form is positive, and movement from the left to the right in standard form is a negative. So we should always take note of that. If a question of this should come, just change the decimal into a whole number and writing it in the standard form like this. Group the whole numbers, cancel out, take your time and cancel out. You just apply the law of indices, you subtract, you break it down, and leave your answer in a final form as the standard form being required. We apologize if we speed up because of our time factor. And these are some likely questions we may go and meet, God willing, 10th of August. And we'll come back and give thanks to God. This is Easy Mathematics. Kindly stay tuned. We'll come again, God willing, probably tomorrow or 2 days from now. And we'll come and talk about construction. How to construct a perpendicular bisector, a locus, and also a parallel line. See you next time. Bye-bye.